Today I want to talk about sibling rivalry. Yes, sibling rivalry is very common in so many families, so it's important to talk about it rather than giving it a deaf ear. So when does it start? Sibling rivalry starts at a very early age when the kids are still very young, and that's when they start fighting. So if this is not handled properly by parents, it can escalate into adulthood, real sibling rivalry. And once it has reached the adulthood stage, the kids are big, it can't be reversed. It continues into very bad enemyship, and this is not a good thing because it is so stressful to both parents and the children themselves. It is so emotionally draining. So parents need to make sure that they keep this sibling rivalry under control right from the young age, so that the children do not have to unnecessarily fight into adulthood. So what are the causes of sibling rivalry? The first cause, of course, is competition. So you find that once the children start competing over small things, or maybe they compete for attention, maybe they compete for scarce resources, that is a fertile ground for sibling rivalry. So that is the first cause of sibling rivalry: competition for attention or competition for scarce resources. Another cause of sibling rivalry, of course, is age differences. Of course, kids are born at different stages of life. So you find that you have older kids and younger kids. Ordinarily, older kids, they want to take control of the younger kids, and sometimes they want to be unfair to the younger kids. Or maybe the younger kids do not want to submit to the older kids, and that is what can cause sibling rivalry. Another cause of sibling rivalry is personality clashes or differences in personality. Now, these kids, much as they have been born in a nuclear family, same father, same mother, they could be different in personalities. Simply because maybe some kids, they take after the father's personality traits, while other kids can take after the mother's personality traits. So you find some kids being extroverts and other kids being introverts. So extrovert kids, these are kids who like socializing a lot, and in most cases they are so happy and they shout all over. When they play music, they like their music to be loud, etc. But the introverts, these are kids who prefer to keep to themselves. They prefer to do their things in silence, and they don't have many friends like the extroverts. So you find that when you have kids who are introverts and other kids that are extroverts, they tend to be that sibling rivalry, because there is no way extroverts can be compatible with introverts. Another cause of sibling rivalry is perceived favoritism. If a kid perceives that you are favoring another kid, then that is bound to be, it brings bad blood among those kids, because one kid will feel that the other one is favored more than him. Another cause is lack of discipline. So make sure that as parents, you instill high levels of discipline to the kids, so that these kids do not have to unnecessarily fight. They should be seen to be obeying the rules of the house. That's how it's going to be controlled. Another cause is external stress, or rather a toxic environment. There are some families, the environment is too toxic, and you find that this is sometimes so emotionally draining to the kids, and each kid tries to look for survival in that toxic environment. So you find in the process of looking for how to survive in that toxic environment, a child, there is bound to be sibling rivalry, because everyone is looking for how to survive as a child. So those are just some of the major causes of sibling rivalry. Now, in case you are a parent and you have many children, or you have more than one child, how do you make sure that these children do not actually fight physically or emotionally or psychologically? You have to find a formula. You are the solution to the problem. So what can you do in order to stop sibling rivalry? The first thing is to avoid comparing the children. These children are different. Not all of them have the same strengths. So you need to know that since they are different, you should not compare them to each other. Because when you compare them to each other, that is when they'll start hating on each other. So you have to make sure that you stop comparing children, because they have different levels of strengths. Another way to solve this sibling rivalry in your home, if you're a parent, is to encourage teamwork. Yes, so you have to encourage teamwork. When, for example, when there is work at home, housework, or work in the shamba or in the garden, you have to make sure that everybody participates in that piece of work. No child should be left to sit while others are working. So it has to be a communal type of work, so that everybody knows that they are treated equally. So encourage teamwork as much as possible. Another way you can solve this sibling rivalry is to celebrate shared wins. Let us say one child has emerged successful in an activity outside the family. Maybe it's a sporting activity, or the child has excelled in his studies and has received extraordinary recognition. So this is a win for the family. It should not be treated as a win for just that child. So in the family, it should be celebrated as a shared kind of a win for all the children to feel happy for their brother or sister for having excelled. So it should be a family win. Another way to resolve this issue of sibling rivalry is to give each child individual attention. It's important to pay attention to each child, because there could be things that the child wants to share with you individually and does not want the other siblings to know. So you have to make sure that you give equal attention to each and every child. Do not ignore any child of yours. They should receive equal attention from you. Another way to resolve this sibling rivalry issue is to show kids to express their feelings calmly. Sometimes kids can be emotional. So when they are emotional, you find that they tend to express their feelings with a lot of emotions. So you have to make sure that whatever they want to express is expressed calmly, so that they can know that whatever is happening to them, it's not just an isolated case, but it is something that is general in nature. Then lastly, perhaps you could try to exercise the spirit of being neutral when you're handling fights among siblings. So you must make sure that you are neutral. Do not favor any side in the event that there is a fight between siblings. So parents, it is in your hands. You have to make sure that your children do not fight. So it can only be resolved when the kids are still young. But when this is left to escalate to adulthood, it can really be toxic to both the children and the parents. So parents, please do not ignore this sibling rivalry issue. It is in your hands, and you should not be the cause of the sibling rivalry issue. You should make sure that you control the issue so that these children love each other into adulthood. If it is not done, it can even send a parent to an early grave just because of the fights of siblings. I have seen a lot of siblings out here, adults, fighting over very, very bad things, fighting over land, fighting over so many things, trying to backstab their own siblings, trying to talk ill of their own siblings, trying to even ensure that their siblings are not happy. And that is not good. So it's important for parents to make sure that this is resolved before kids grow into adulthood, because some kids can be lethal. Some kids can actually be lethal. So let's take care as parents. Thank you.